What's with these guys?
Hello, everyone, and of course, welcome to Red United TV. It's your boy, Ivorian Spice, and we're back at it again with the catch up volume 112. It's another week for Manchester United after international break, after shenanigan. It's been keeping up at Carrington for the last couple of weeks during international week. We wasn't even playing, and we made the headlines throughout the whole international week. You would think Manchester United is an international team for the news that came out during international break, but it's been keeping it at Carrington for the last couple of days. News regarding Anthony, Sancho, Maguire, Gareth Southgate, as well of Maguire's mum, and with all that shit with the Chantal shenanigan, Manchester United, all that nonsense. You think, you know what? After the international break we've had, you owe us a W. You owe us a win against Brighton Munich. But Manchester United themselves flopped, fucked the shit up against Brighton Munich. Not long that we have to face the real Bayern Munich this midweek on Wednesday, but it is what it is. Manchester United losing. For those who have just joined as well, this is your weekly Manchester United podcast where we discuss the match as well. We reflect on it and we talk about the news. We've got Eric Ten Hag, is he done? Question mark for the guys to discuss in the panel as well. Mook, you're all right. Don't worry. You're all black and white right now because you're not in the show. That's the reason why. So that's why you probably see yourself as in the background as black and white. But yes, guys, as I was saying, for those who are watching, make sure you subscribe to Red United TV. Keep your questions Manchester United related as well. And of course, follow Red United TV on Instagram and as well Twitter. I've run _Spice myself, my personal Instagram account, the same thing. And follow Red United on TV on Twitch. Make sure you keep everything, every single question Manchester United related. Big up Stephanie as well. She's here as well. It's a long one. It's going to be a hot full one because Manchester United again back-to-back defeats. Let me introduce the gang. The gang are here, of course. Yes. Big up Ola, big up Amuk, and big up Jerome as well. Jerome just returning from his trip. You know, you wished it was sweet and sensational that trip, but it was not. Big up as well, Solo as well, who's just tuning. It is what it is, man. First of all, Ola, football fan family as well. Subscribe to that channel. How are you, my brother? How's your weekend in general? You know, besides football, how are you?
I'm not like we spoke yesterday. I told you I'm not feeling too well, and
Mm-hmm.
I can just say United they've added more to the way I'm feeling. But I think I didn't expect much from the game, so I was expecting to be surprised by the performance. I mean, like getting a good performance and a good result from the game, but we lost the game 3 goals to 1. I just think I I don't really know how to feel, and I don't like. We'll get into more details
Yeah,
uh,
is
during the course
exactly.
of the show, but let's just. I'm trying to be good. I'm not trying to be a kid. So
No
let's
worries.
just.
And of course we've got Jerome. Jerome, how you been, bro? Like, how was your weekend despite the result?
Good. My weekend was, I'll describe it as mixed, to say the least. Imagine having a weekend break in Liverpool, like watching the ops from a Liverpool perspective, seeing
Mm-hmm.
Man United lose, and
Mm-hmm.
then pretending to people in Liverpool that you're not a United fan. Like, it was painful. It was painful, to say the least. But I enjoyed the weekend.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, not the result,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to enjoy life. You can't let football, the sports in general, dictate how your weekend's gonna go.
Yep.
You still got to enjoy life and just try and put things to the side, really.
So Jerome is basically saying he was Peter at that moment. He denied Manchester United 3 times, you know, 3 times. And he's like, no, I'm not a Manchester United fan. No, I've seen you somewhere on some YouTube channel. Nope. Nah, it's not
Nah,
me.
I said, nah, that was my twin
That's your
brother.
twin. Yep. Yep. Denied Manchester United 3 times like Peter did. And bit welcome as well. Big up to you just in your returns to the channel as well. First of all, besides the result, how you doing, my brother? We can't hear you. Probably put yourself on mute.
Yeah, I said I'm good, you know. Thanks for asking, brother. It's been good, alhamdulillah. It's been a long time, brother. What you say?
No, well, let's get straight into it, guys, because we have to dissect this game. It's a game that no one really wants to, but as I always say, I've ruined Spice, win, lose, or draw. I don't hide. I always show my face. My chest is puffed up, and of course, it is what it is, man. When you support Manchester United, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's how we will go out at the end of the day. But yes, big up to everyone. Let's get straight into it because, of course, it is Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. Manchester United getting Brighton, Munich getting seagulled out of. Oh, we got the seagull. We got shattered on by the seagulls, bruv. We got destroyed. You would think we was being destroyed by a busy single or Steven Seagal himself, bruv. That's how bad it was on that day, man, against Manchester United. Manchester United capitulating after a good 20 minutes, as always. As I always say, Manchester United will give you 20 minutes. That's about it. And after the 20 minutes, we capitulate, and moments we concede that first goal, it just goes left, man. It goes pear shaped, man. Very disappointed, guys, with the results. Because I definitely thought Brighton Munich was going to be a tough game, and I thought it was going to be a long night for us, but we will somehow find a way to win, especially the fact that we are at Old Trafford. And we don't lose at Old Trafford, which is the truth. We don't lose at Old Trafford, but the last team to beat us at Old Trafford was Brighton. And Brighton is also the first team to beat us at Old Trafford and destroying that record of Eric Ten Hag. Let's go straight into the match because my overall thoughts, I have to say, I thought we was horrible in the first 45 minutes. I know we started off so well in 20 minutes, and we saw this diamond formation materialize, and Manchester United doing so well, attacking and also pressing, getting the ball back and all that kind of stuff. But as always, like the game against Arsenal, like the game against Wolves, like the game against Nottingham Forest as well, all these opportunities, but never take it, Never take the opportunities. That's what Manchester United have been doing, not taking their chances. And then guess what? It bounced on our asses and it slaps us right in the face. And next thing you know, we're 1-0 down. From the moment we conceded that goal, and we was never ourselves. Manchester United were being absolutely dominated by Brighton Munich throughout the whole 45 minutes. And going into that second half, I would have thought to Ten Hag, I would have told him straight away, you better sort your shit out. But it got worse when Manchester United conceded that second goal as well. And then the third goal, yes, we got a consolation, but that consolation meant nothing. I don't even know why Meshbury was celebrating that situation, bro. Like real Manchester United players with that real mentality, they pick the ball up from the back of the net and they go straight to the halfway line and we start again. But he wanted to celebrate his first goal because, of course, he's an academy player. But yeah, I'm not gonna go bash him because I didn't know it was his first goal. But it's not his fault that Manchester United lost that game. It's on the manager as well with his decision making. Once the Zebri figured his diamond out, yeah, we was toasted. It was sayonara. It was good night Vienna for Manchester United. Ten Hag had nothing left. Nothing. He couldn't even reply at all. Just scratching his head, making his substitution to the extent that Bruno Fernandes was playing centre back. And I know he doesn't want to play Harry Maguire. For those who say that he wants Harry Maguire here, that's another example. He could have put Maguire on, but he said, "Fuck it, I want to put Bruno centre back and die on this hill." That just shows me that he don't trust Harry Maguire or Johnny Evans to fulfill that role at centre back, especially when we was chasing the game. But it is what it is, man. Let me get my first guy that gives us his overall thought. I'm going to start off with you, Amuk. Amuk, your overall thought on the game, because we do have to discuss the manager after reflecting the game as well. So try and avoid going too in on the manager until we get to that section of is Eric Ten Hag done segment. So yes, your thoughts on the match itself, Amara, overall. You're on mute again. You're on mute again.
Yeah, I did say I think it was a disappointing match to watch because you just lost against Arsenal before the international break itself. Came back excited at home, like you did say, we haven't lost at home so much time to Brighton, and we lost again. It was just a bit disappointing, and I feel like this defeat a bit more disappointing than the Arsenal defeat, because we played against a team that did not even have the first team, and they controlled the entire match itself. So let's say if they had a full team, what should have happened? We would have lost more. Just like, I understand the team want to play a system that's been given to them. I understand they're trying to build themselves with a new system, like with the keeper itself, try to play. But the same thing we saw last season, Manchester United was like either the first half team or maybe second half team. Mm-hmm. We haven't played the whole 90 minutes, given that performance that makes people feel up. The example, the only time I see us giving that performance was against Tottenham last season. We only played 90 minutes, give up, and it felt good. But it's really disappointing to watch us play. I don't want to talk about the players individually because for me, none of the players turned up. Like every single department was a bit poor. The only person that I saw gave a little bit of like was the new signing from Tottenham, the loan signing regular. For me, it was the only player that I thought like did a bit, but rather than that, everyone else was just. It's a bit disappointing. Like I don't know if you can tell from my voice, I'm excited, whatever, but it's hard to talk about United these days. It's really hard because nothing has changed, and it's just the 5th game of the season already, and we've lost 3 out of 5. It's disappointing.
Okay, I'm gonna move it up to you, Ola, and I'll save Jerome for last. What the best for last? I know Jerome's got a lot of things to say regarding Manchester United and the way they were set up, man. Ola, let me get your view, your overall thoughts on that game against Brighton.
I think it was a disappointing game. Like you said, we had a good record at Old Trafford, so we knew it would be a tough game, but we are like having the hope that okay, let's see. We are a very good side where we are playing at home, so let's see if we can play better. But unfortunately, we lost the game. I think, like you said earlier, we started the game very well. The first 15, 20 minutes were like moving the ball quickly and creating chances. And that's where I come in and say football is a game of goals. You can create 100 chances. If you don't score a goal, the chances you are creating are basically useless. And we got a couple of chances. We scored the disallowed goal. And I can think all of us can agree that that ball has gone like out of the pitch already. But regardless, I think some bad decisions, some more decision making from Rashford at some point, wanting to shoot, wanting to take a player on at every time. So sometimes you need to release the ball for the striker, and the time he did that, Oiland scored, but unfortunately the goal was disallowed. So that should have been a confidence booster for him to give the striker the ball more. And the guy, the defender that was playing in front of Rashford had a yellow card. And I was thinking Rashford had the advantage to work on him more and create better chances. I don't like we had poor decision making. We can say, oh, what about the formation and all, but we created a couple of chances before they scored. And their first chance they scored, that was 1-0 already. That shows what I'm trying to say. We can create the chances, but we need to take our chances. We created a lot of chances this season already, but we had issues with taking those chances. And we're complaining of Martial, this, that, and all that. And now Oiland is coming in. Let the players need to trust him enough to give him the ball, like create the chances for him. We can't keep playing this selfish game of wanting to everyone wanting to score, because I think we saw that a lot from Rashford in that game. He created some, but he still made a lot of bad decisions at some point, which would have released the ball earlier or given Oiland the ball, and maybe would have gotten a goal. And Brighton are a very good side. Zerbi has been doing a fantastic job, and I think at the end of the day, I know a lot of fans are saying we should not talk about the Glazers, this, that, and all this, but I think all this still boils down. It still boils down to the mismanagement of this club, because we were expecting a far better transfer window than what we got. We were expecting to have
Yep.
far better players than what we got, and that's why we are still seeing McTominay starting for United. Even though we got Amrabat, we were expecting a lot of options in that position that we can change it up and not have issues. Casemiro has been shocking so far this season. I don't know what's going on with him, but I think we we as fans we should have expected something like this to happen, because Casemiro he's not getting younger, he's getting older. The pace of the Premier League is faster than even in La Liga. Last season he did very well, but second season you should expect, like, the Premier League is getting better every season. So and that's where everything needs to improve their squad every season to match up to that level. And I don't think we've done that, even with the signing of Amrabat, Oiland, and the players we've got in. I don't think we've massively improved our squad, and that's already showing. That's already telling on us. And see the amount of injuries we had. Sadly for us, Wamisaka too is injured now again for like 2 months. So like he's getting like from bad to worse with the injuries and all. And I just think we just have to hope it gets better and trust in the process, like we've always said. But so far this season, I don't know what to expect. We've lost three games already, and we won two, and we still have a lot of games to come. Tougher games now. We are going to Champions League. Like there's a lot. There's no space and time for you to try to build the team. Or now you have to keep improving as the game goes by. And with the injuries we have, with the performances we are seeing, like United, like this is a tough time to be a United fan. But we just have to take it that way, and hopefully it improves. We pray and hope it improves. I want to improve on the pitch.
Yeah, hopefully so, man. Hopefully we improve. But for some reason, I just don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks and the next couple of games, man. It's just for us to see. Joe, I'm going to stretch it straight to you. Of course, you got to. I'm sure you watched the highlights now, and you've
Yeah.
digested it in. Your
Yeah, I
thoughts on
watched.
that game?
Yeah. I watched the extended highlights because obviously I was away. But watching the highlights gave me enough information I needed to come to the conclusion that that performance was absolutely shocking, to say the least. Obviously, the highlights don't paint the full picture, but as you guys said, it looks like we started off brightly in the first 15, 20 minutes. And as soon as Brighton got the first goal, it just seems like we just caved in. I think there's definitely a mentality problem in the team, and we can't just keep using excuses such as the sale process or the Anthony issue, the Greenwood issue, Sancho issue, injuries. The team that we put out at home with our so-called good home record should have been enough to beat that Brighton side, who themselves had the makeshift lineup. And that team that they put together only cost about 2 million compared to ours. So really, the manager was running out of excuses with whatever he came out with in the post-match analysis. But I was just sad to see how easily we were cut through. Like, how often have we said this season that we've been cut through in midfield like a knife through butter? It was just embarrassing. And when I saw that lineup with McTominay and Casemiro in midfield, I was just thinking, yeah, it's going to be the same as what we've seen the first 5 games of the season, where we're not controlling games, relying on individual brilliance, and we're not playing with any cohesion or style of play, which is something that I'm starting to get a bit concerned with, because I thought we were going to kick on from the first season and start to see some development in our playing style. But the manager said that the players need to stick to the plan, and it seems like they're not sticking to the plan. It seems like as soon as something goes wrong, they just revert to type and just freestyle and just play for themselves. Like a prime example is Rashford. I don't know if this guy's ever going to improve because he just seems to be playing for himself every time he goes on the pitch. When the pass is on, he doesn't pass, he shoots. And when he should be shooting, he'll make the wrong pass and he'll misplace it. It just seems like he's just playing on vibes at the moment, and whatever happens, happens. I don't think he made one meaningful pass from what I saw in the game. Everything was just cutting and shoot, cutting and shoot, cutting and shoot. Like Haaland must have been thinking, like, are you going to provide me with any service or what? Because you're playing on the left. I'm the main striker guy, and you're not providing me with any meaningful service. So that, coupled with a non-existent right-hand side, is just a recipe for disaster for our strikers. So Haaland's gonna, a 20-year-old striker with all this pressure, is gonna have to do it on his own at the moment, unless the manager comes up with some sort of system to get the best out of it. Because from what I'm seeing, I don't know where Haaland's gonna get the service from. And obviously Amrabat was injured, and I'm not sure what's going on with our backroom team and why we just keep getting players dropping down like flies, because the team's just collapsing at the moment with injuries. But going back to the game, as soon as we went 1-0 down, it just looked like there was only going to be one winner in the game. We weren't really creating that many clear-cut chances, and Brighton just kept coming at us. We were so comfortable with ease. And this is at Old Trafford as well. You would have thought that they were Man United and we were Brighton by the way they were playing. It was just so embarrassing. It was a tough watch, to be honest. Obviously, we've got to stick by this team. Hopefully, it can only get better. We can't get any worse than this because it was tough. Obviously, the Arsenal game, losing in the last minute and having to sit through 2 weeks of the international break, hoping that we'll come back and bounce back, only to get another humbling defeat. It's just like, how much more can fans take of this?
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of fans are going to be reactionary. Some are going to blame the manager. Some are going to blame the board, the players, or a combination of the three. But major changes are needed in this club if we're ever going to move forward. Because I know we're going to get onto the manager segment, but changing the manager is not going to resolve anything with this current setup. Bring any manager in and they'll fail under this current regime. So hopefully the manager's going to be given time, but judging by the current squad that we have and the injuries that we have, I just can't see at which point it's going to start getting better and performances are going to improve, because we've got Bayern Munich next on Wednesday. Injuries are still kicking in, and every Premier League game seems to be looking tougher and tougher when you look at the fixture list. So, yeah, something's got to give, and I think the players need to do better, because what I saw, they were just looking like scared children playing football, and no one in that team was taking the game by the scruff of the neck. Our so-called captain Bruno, non-existent again, and just doing what he wants. So it just looks like we've got a team full of lack of leaders and that players that don't even care. They're just collecting their thousands, collecting their wages, going back to their lives, and they're just forgetting the result ever happened. Whereas the fans got to pick up the pieces, really. So yeah, that's why you just kind of got to separate sports from your personal life and not let it affect you too much, because from what I'm seeing, it doesn't seem like these players care too much either. So yeah, as Ola said, the recruitment, from what I've seen, just doesn't look like we've improved with the players that we brought in. Coupled with the injuries, it just seems that it looks like we're probably weaker than we were last season, and everyone else has got stronger. So that's why it's looking like every game that we're playing is a struggle to get the win. So yeah, we're just gonna have to have a bit more patience now. I thought that we'll be a lot better than we was from last season. I thought we'll kick on, but it doesn't look like it's going to be like that. It looks like it's going to be a fight for 4th and 5th. The only consolation is that it's only the first 5 games, and we've still got another 33 games to get us back in this top 4 race. Because right now we're looking at mid-table mediocrity at the moment, and it's not a good sight. Right now, I'm not even looking at the table at the moment because it's just cringy even looking at it and how far we're behind City with just 5 games gone. But yeah, we just got to take one game at a time and just hope that the results start to improve sooner rather than later.
Yeah, exactly. We hope that the results improve sooner rather than later. But it's what's going to happen in reality. There's a lot of doubt in it as well, especially with the injuries that's coming as well. We are hearing news about Wan-Bissaka potentially being out for 2 months. But still, going back and discussing that game, guys, smash that like and button and subscribe to Red United TV, guys, as we review this game. Let's talk player-wise, you know. Well, I'm going to go straight to you, Mark Rashford. So many opportunities, so many chances as well, even to pass the Highland as well. What was your thoughts on Rashford's performance, bro?
I think it was a very poor performance from Rashford. Like I know he's good in, like, when it comes to goal scoring. Yes, he was top goal scorer last season. But as a winger, part of your job is to assist the striker, and you can't just keep shooting every time. When you are trying to shoot every time and it's not working, try something else. He kept doing the same thing all through the game, and I understand that the manager might not want to get him off because players like that, in a split second, they might make a good decision and get a goal or create a couple of good chances for you. But I feel now it needs to be cautioned. It needs to be cautioned. I don't know how the manager is going to do that, but now we have a striker that we believe could do
I'm
more.
back. I lost
Okay,
connection. Yeah.
okay. We have a manager that we believe could do more for us, and we have a striker that we trust it better now. So I think our wingers need to support the striker. Like, the striker can't do it on his own. No matter how much the striker runs up and down the pitch, if he doesn't get the service, he can't deliver. And Rashford needs to understand that Oiland is there for a reason as a striker, and needs to provide him with service for him to be able to score. So, and in that game, it was just frustrating that we saw Oiland's movement, we saw what he was trying to do, and we were expecting good passes given it to him. And the only one he got, he scored. So that alone should be a confidence booster to players around him that, okay, if you create chances for this striker, he can score. And I know there was some criticism on why the manager took him off, but I think he had the right to take him off because he knew maybe he was not 100% fit or something, so he needed to take him off. But with Marcus Rashford, he needs to improve. He needs to seriously improve on his game because if he keeps now the problem now is we have limited options. Eh? Sancho is nowhere to be found for now with this issue. Uh, Anthony also is nowhere to be found. Martial, we don't know what to say about that. Unless we want to start the likes of Ahmad, Pelestri, and put our faith in these young players, which I feel we can, but at the same time, we are putting them into a very bad position because if they don't perform well and they start getting the backlash from the fans, it won't have their confidence. And that's why I think Pelestri did start that game. I know we might think it comes on as a cameo for a cameo appearance, he does well. Same with Garnacho. We've seen games like Garnacho start from the start and he did and he doesn't play well. But once he comes on in the second half, he scores a goal, he does an assist. So there's different levels to starting the game for 90 minutes and just coming in for cameo appearance. So I just think Rashford needs to do better. He needs to do way better than what he's doing. And you guys should have your thoughts on the issue. It seems everyone's network is having issues. You know, we can go on take on Rashford.
Yeah, he's Patrick's gone for a bit. Just echoing what you said on Rashford. He needs to, I don't know what, because the thing is, he's probably amazing in training and doing lots of assists, doing lots of good shots, long range shots at goal and stuff. Everything's probably all clicking in training, but it's like every time we go on a match day, Rashford it's like he's in his own bubble and just does whatever he wants. It doesn't follow instructions. And it's just so frustrating to watch for someone that's played for United for since 2014, 2015 season.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still seeing the same thing that you'd expect from a youth player.
Yep.
So it's almost like whatever he's being drummed into in training, it's not sticking. I don't think it ever will, because you've been playing at the highest level for that long and you still haven't improved. So that's something that the manager's going to have to look at going forward, because Rashford said that he doesn't like playing up front and the left is his best position, but he's proven to be ineffective on his so-called best position. So yeah, that's something that needs addressing as well. But obviously, because we've got so many players out or injured or unavailable, we're just gonna have to persevere with it at the moment. And in terms of Bruno, he's a person that's kind of stuck out. There's been this big debate about whether Bruno's better than Odegaard, or is Odegaard better, or is Madison up there with them. But I think there's no debate. We can clearly see that Bruno's not performing, and he hasn't been for a long while now. So that debate needs to be put to bed immediately, because this guy, what's he done since the start of the season? He scored what? He had an assist against Forest at home, but when it comes to the big games, he's nowhere to be seen. And Brighton are a top team now. Like there's no doubt about it now. And he didn't do anything against Brighton. This was even at Old Trafford.
Well, listen, we've been struggling against Brighton from last season, home and away, and the FA Cup that we managed to beat them on knockouts. So we can, that we managed to beat on penalties, Jerome.
Yeah.
So we was always going to have a tough one. People should understand that Brighton were better than us from last season to this season.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, people keep. Yeah, I know people are mocking at Brighton's £2 million starting lineup, but they're a top team and they've beaten loads of top teams in the Prem. So, and obviously they qualified for Europe last season. So they're not an average team. They're an above average team, and they're a good, well-drilled old machine that have been playing with that philosophy and mastering it for the last 4 or 5 years. Whereas we're just starting out. So you can kind of see that they actually play better football than we do, and players actually know what they're doing. Even players that have hardly played, they can just come in and just slot straight into the system. Whereas as soon as we make changes to our squad, we just look like a bunch of strangers on the pitch, not knowing where to pass or where to make runs. So you could see that clearly with our starting lineup on the weekend, that playing players like Scott McTominay, and our partnership with Martinez and Lindelof and Reguilon at left back. Like, it was just, our team's just looking a bit below average at the moment with all the injuries. But yeah, going back to Bruno, this guy doesn't perform when it matters, and I know he's our captain, and that's down to the manager. But don't expect Bruno to be pulling up trees for us this season, because we've got enough evidence since he's come at United in 2020 that he's just not up to it when it comes to the big games. So yeah, don't expect nothing there, and I didn't expect nothing against Brighton, and I was proved right. And our defense, for some reason, is what helped us get third place in the trophy last season. But
it's just weird that it's capitulated.
Yeah, our defense is looking like an absolute shambles at the moment, and I know Martinez is my guy, but he's just looking like a headless chicken at the moment. Like whoever he's playing with. Like, I can't, there's no other way of saying it. Like Martinez, he's one of my favourite guys at United, but and maybe it's because Varane's injured, but whoever he's with, he just, like, I saw the goals yesterday and he was just all over the place. Like, I don't know what's going on at the moment. Obviously, we know that Martinez is a very competent defender and he can pass up from the back. He's an ETH signing, and he's the person that mirrors what ETH wants in terms of his passing philosophy and playing up from the back. But at the moment, I don't know if Martinez is fully fit or what the problem is, but he's just not performing at the moment. And obviously Varane's injury prone and Lindelof is just standing. So there's problems there. And I can see why the manager wanted to get a new defender in, but the club didn't back him. They didn't get Kim Min-jae. I think there was another defender from the French league that we're linked to. Tolibo. Yeah, that fell through. So we're stuck with Maguire, who he doesn't want, who's on the bench, and we had to get Evans on a free. He's not going to cut it at the top level. Let's be real. He's not going to do anything. So we've got a few problem areas and a few individuals that need to step up. And I know Martinez will eventually, but it's just the beginning of the season. But it's just concerning how many goals that we're conceding so early in the season. We're like, what, -4 goal difference after 5 games? I've never seen anything like it. So that's something that needs to rectify immediately. We might just need to just revert to just playing defensive and just keeping it tight and just trying to score the odd goal, because I'm not liking the amount of goals that we're conceding. And also, Anana, obviously he's a good modern goalkeeper, but question marks at the moment over his shot stopping. Because I've been looking at the goals.
The savings.
I've been looking at the goals that we're conceding. I'm just looking, I'm thinking, you need to be saving some of these goals, especially that third goal that Brighton scored. That's looked at. I just thought we just look like we just got some average goalkeeper from Serie A at the moment. Like I rate Anana highly, but I don't know if it's because our defense is making him look like that, because the way we're just getting carved through, it's almost like Onana's always been left in no man's land when shots are.
The goals that we're conceding, Jerome, it's coming from defensive areas and just the defense being far too open. And not just the defense, the midfield as well, with those 3 guys in midfield. Where you got Casemiro and you've got Christian Eriksen, you've got Bruno Fernandes, Scott McTominay. I've had enough of, like still out of the club, the guy who makes shadow, the guy who hides in every situation.
Literally.
Is what it is. But guys, we've spoken enough about the game. Let's move it straight on to the second segment of the show. So I do apologize, guys. I don't know, for some reason, today out of all days, my internet is acting up. Like it's just bugging out. I've switched from mobile data to Wi-Fi, so I just don't know. So I do apologize to everyone that's watching right now about the stream, but we work with what we have in it, and the guys are doing a tremendous job by just continuing the show while man's having situations. Like it's a bit like Man United right now, we're having situations. But let's move straight into it. Erik ten Hag, so many questions. Is Ten Hag done, or is he done? Like in terms of being found out, his future at Manchester United, is it in jeopardy, or are we just blowing things out of proportion, or are the media going crazy as well? And what's your thoughts, guys? Is Ten Hag done, or he needs time? And we'll start with you, Ola. Ola?
I don't think Ten Hag is done. I think we always have this expectation, like we did with Mourinho also. He came in the first season, won the Europa League, won the Carabao Cup at that time. The second season, we're expecting us to go to another level, which we didn't go to. We started regressing, and issues, started having issues from there. I think as fans, we are always very reactionary, and that's why I think any United fan that is Ten Hag out, you can criticize the manager if he makes wrong decisions. You can always say what you feel about the manager, but I just think being Ten Hag out after 5 games in the new season, with us being excited for last season, I think we all expected a far better transfer window than we had this season. We're going into getting Kane and like getting one of the top players in all the positions, because we trust in this manager that if he gets the right players in, we are going to have a very good team and very good performances. Look at the players we've got in. Even to Amrabat. Amrabat was not a signing we thought we'd be getting at the end of last season. So now if Amrabat is injured, we still have to put up with Scott McTominay again this season. I think we still have a lot of players we had there last season, 2 seasons ago, that we all wanted to go. We were not able to sell Johnny. We still have Maguire at the club. We still have McTominay at the club. We're able to sell Fred here, but we still have Marcus Rashford still doing what he knows how to do, have a good season, and the next season start badly. Like Anthony Martial is still here. So a lot of the problems we were trying to solve are still here. And the players we even got in are like average players that we didn't want to get in. Look at Regulon, for instance. No one thought we'd be going in for Regulon on loan. Fine, he had a good game against Brighton, but none of us were. If they had asked us at the beginning of the transfer window that we'll be getting Regulon, we will say no. Amrabat also, I don't think anyone expected us to get Amrabat at the end of last season. So, like the manager's top targets, we didn't really get any of them. Even up to Ireland, we were going in for Kane, looking that we can get Kane outrightly, but we could not get him. We had to go for the second option, which was Oiland, and believing and trusting he comes in and perform. For a player of 20 year old, the pressure we are mounting on this player to perform is very high because we just didn't get the options we needed. If you get in Harry Kane, you know he gets you goals, you know he gets you assists, he gets you good performances straight away. But with Oiland, even now we can see glimpses of what he can do, but we can't still expect 15 to 20 goals because this is his first season, the 20 year old in the Premier League. So I think a lot of things are wrong. So that's why if you want to play the manager, you have to look at the plan, the structure. Let's take Brighton for instance. Writing the structure from top to bottom is there. You can see it, and that's why they can have 6 players out and bring in 6 new players, and they still have the level of performances they get from the first 3 players that they have. So it shows the structure, what the way they've been building the team for like 4, 5, 6 years, and now it's showing on the players. But with our team, we don't have that's like the thing is not like coherent, it's not compact. You have a good performance. Once you just take 1 or 2 players out, the team changes to one of the worst team you can ever see. So I think you can blame the manager tactically. He has his like he could have made some better decisions, and even with substitution sometimes. But I don't really think substitution. I don't think he can really do much with substitution because he has to play the player he has. And trusting in these young players, yes, we want to trust in the young players more. Likes of Pelestri, Hannibal came in, he got a very good goal. Like if we had won that game, we all will be excited for that goal because it was a fantastic goal he scored. But maybe now he needs to trust in the younger players more because they can adapt to his style. They will understand what he's trying to do better than some of these players that have been here for years. Because as a young player, you can still easily adapt to a style of play and build better than a player that has been playing a certain way for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And that's why Bruno Fernandes is going to be an issue for us because we all know he's not good with retaining the ball. He always wants to hit the long ball, the Hollywood passes, going in and out of games. And these things, as in the last couple of years he has been here, we've seen it. Fine, he had some good seasons, he had some not too good seasons, but we've seen what he's trying to do. He's not really an returner type of player. He has the work rate, he has everything, but when it comes to ball retention and decision making, sometimes he makes the wrong decisions. And I think playing him out of position too is always very bad because most times when he switch into the number 10 role, you see him do more. But playing from the right, he doesn't really do a lot from the right, and that's why you can criticize the returner for not starting Pelestri in that game. And if it doesn't work out, you can take him out in the first half and maybe try something else. And the in-game management of a retired in that game was poor because after the 20 minutes, Brighton discovered what we're trying to do with the diamond, and he could not tweak it and change something to like Deserbi understood what we're trying to do and he tweaked it, and immediately they got the goal and the game changed from there. So as a manager, it's not only what to teach them on the training ground, your in-game management is very important, and he had issues with that. So we can criticize him, but I am not anywhere near saying Ten Hag out because I don't think it has got to that level of Ten Hag out. Now we need the performances. At least a draw against Bayern if we can, and we need to go through a run of games in the Premier League. We need a run of games, 2, 3 games. Now I don't even think we should be too bothered about the performance because we all wanted a good performance, this and that, and now the results are beginning to go bad. So even if we play well in the next game and we lose, that's another 3 points lost. So we need to start getting the points by hook or by crook. Now we need to start getting the points because that's just the fact. Because the more if we have a very good game in our next game in the Premier League and we lose that game, that's another 3 point loss, and we keep going down. And a lot of these teams they've improved. You can see the performances. I was watching the Nottingham Forest game that they're playing currently. You can see the way these teams are trying to perform. So with United, if we don't take care, we'll end up being like Chelsea. But even though Chelsea too, they are nowhere to be found. They are not good this season. But I think if we are not careful, we'll be dragging with 12, 13, and 14 with Chelsea. Because the more you lose, other teams keep winning. You keep going down the league, and we don't need that. And for the manager, that's where it goes wrong. If he can't spring up a couple of wins, a couple of performances, and get a couple of points, if we lose a couple more games, I think you know how football is now. There's no patience. Fine, you want to give him a 3 year, 4 year, 5 year plan, but once your fans start turning against you, I don't think you can have much time like we all wanted to have. But I am not an adult yet. I hope and I wish he can. I don't even want to pray because I think no matter how much you play in these situations, it's what you play on the day that matters. And if you don't play well, you lose. That's just how football is. Football is very cruel, but we just need to string a couple of results together, and hopefully he can turn it around and stay because he's a good manager. We know what he can do. We trust in him, and now we need the performances, or else it might go bad and we might need to change the manager. But I don't think that should happen anytime soon.
Yeah, man, it's true. It's true. I've just let me get my 2 cents into it because, of course, me, I've said it before. I think I said it on my channel and other channels before, and said it in people. I'm gonna give Eric Ten Hag until the end of September to fix the shit that's going on right now. Until I make my mind up whether this guy is the right guy. Because there's a lot of things I haven't seen from the manager. You know me, I like this guy. I hope he's the one because it was the manager that I wanted. Yeah, but I'm not seeing the philosophy, and I've said it before. I see it in bits and bobs, and at the end of the day, that's not good enough. The tactical knowledge and the tactical battle, he's been out battled a couple of times. I've seen a Manchester United that keep losing the midfield battle for a good more than 10 years. It's not just Ten Hag; it's been under all the previous management where we've lost the midfield battles from Louis Van Gaal. I think Louis Van Gaal's the only one where from that we always dominated possession. But when it came to Jose Mourinho, David Moyes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even under Eric Ten Hag, we have never dominated midfield. And Manchester United, in terms of matches are always won in midfield. And if you can't get your midfield right, then yeah, you got issues. I thought last season he addressed the midfield problem, bringing in Eriksen and also bringing in Casemiro, to bring in that creativity as well and that balance. But all that balance is gone right now. Casemiro looks like a shadow of the player that he was last season. Eriksen, obviously, he's half-hearted now. He's not the same Eriksen that he was. Bruno Fernandes is Bruno Fernandes at the end of the day. Bruno's going to do what he does, give the ball away, can't keep ball, retain ball, moan, whine. You know what I mean? And with Rashford as well, can't keep the ball, can't interplay, can't contribute to the overall structure of the game in the final third, and that's always going to be a problem. So when you have those players in your team that have these deficiencies and you want to play possession-based football, you are not going to see possession-based football. I don't care who you are, bruv. Marcus Rashford doesn't play possession-based football. He plays direct football. Bruno Fernandes as well. So on Ten Hag as well, you have to look at yourself and think, should I be starting these players? I know both these players have contributed massively a lot to the Manchester United GAs, but you should have thought about bringing in players that can compete for their position. I look at the signing of Mason Mount, and I'm sorry, I keep saying it before. That is one of the worst, the wrong signings. I know what we've seen pre-season. We've seen 2 games of him, and before that, it was underwhelming. I don't care what people feelings towards Mason Mount, whether they think he's good or not. Because listen, I've only seen a Mason Mount that was good under the season that Chelsea won the Champions League. He was their best player. Last season, he was non-applicable, bruv. He didn't want to play. He wasn't playing. He wasn't part of the squad, so he lost out on his development. The season before that, where he had double assists, double goals. Yeah, he was good. He was Chelsea's player of the year twice in a row, I believe. But apart from that, he wasn't the player that Manchester United should be looking at, because I've always compared Mason Mount to being Bruno Fernandes, and we've got better. Bruno Fernandes is the original. We don't need Mason Mount. We need a player that was a hybrid that can play a 6 and an 8 back and forth with so much energy and creative as well, and can keep the ball and tactically disciplined. But Ten Hag went to get Mason Mount. He's gonna have to die on that one, bruv. And of course the signing of Højlund. I'm happy that we got a striker. But the way Manchester United went about it, that's the reason why. And again, I will say this, and I'll say this with chess. If you think we had a great summer and you can say that Ten Hag was backed, yeah, you can say £400 million. But no, we wasn't back to the level that we we expected. The transfer was appalling. You know, the fact that we had to loan Amrabat, they couldn't sell players. We didn't even get our first choice striker. We didn't really need a new goalkeeper that badly. That could have been addressed at the end. But regarding the manager, I don't think he deserves a sack right now. Yeah, because I'm tired. I'm not going to do this sack manager thing, you know, because at the end of the day, it's been 10 years and it's been a cycle. It's been sack the manager bounce, everything's all right. Next year, sack the manager again, get a new manager, a manager bounce. It's looking good. We'll go happy again. And then after that, oh, manager out. It's going to be like that for 10 years until I'm only satisfied until the owners are gone. Right? When you get rid of what the problem is, and the problem is the owners. People keep saying, you keep on saying the owners, they invest money. They've given them 1.5 billion now, bro. What have they been spending money on pile of dog shit? You know, if they actually had structure and a strategy on the club of what we are, if we had owners that asked themselves, what is Manchester United? What is the football that we want to play? We not just abide by what the manager wants to play. What is Manchester United? How do you define Manchester United? What makes Manchester United? What football we play? And then we get the players to play that football, and then we get the managers to coach that football. Then we'll be fine. We'll be fine. But when we'll have owners who don't give a shit, and that's all the way in America chilling, and you're hiring people like Richard Arnold, who's doing the CEO job for the first time in his life, never done it before, that there is no experience at the highest level, yeah? And you've got a director of football that's doing it for the first time in his life, no real experience. This is just experiment to him, you know? And you've got a technical director in Darren Fletcher, who we didn't know what he was doing at first, and then he got given that job based on nepotism, yeah? Yeah, and he's doing it for the first time as well. That's when you know Manchester United are in problems, bro. That's until ownership change and a restructure from the hierarchy to the bottom to the top. Don't tell me about no new manager, because it can be Jesus. Jesus will come into Manchester United, touch that water in the fountain, and it won't turn into wine because he can't save us. That's how bad it is. Jesus cannot save us. God cannot save us because we are called the Red Devils. Maybe we can change our name to the Red Angels and things can change. Maybe we need another sacrifice. I don't know what's going on at Manchester United, but I'm not going to say manager out. I'm going to say owners out first, you know, and what's it called? People who in the boardroom and people that runs the club on a daily basis needs to go out first before we can talk about the manager and the players as well. People need to understand you can call HGH a fraud as much as you like, but these players are also frauds. They cave in all the time, and they're always throw the manager under the bus. And yeah, it is what it is, man. But yeah, all I've got to say is that the players that we have, they're not good enough. I will push all of them off the cliff, except for maybe Casemiro, Martinez, and Varane, but majority of those players, and maybe keep the guys that just came in like Højlund, yeah. But apart from that, I'll push everyone off the cliff because why? They're just not good enough, man. They're not Manchester United players, man. They can't even keep the ball, for God's sake, man. They're on 150k per week, 200k per week, and you can't keep the ball. You know, you're a high level player, but regarding the manager, I will say before, I'm going to give him until September to fix the shit. And if he can't fix the shit, he's not the right one. But I'm not screaming Ten Hag out. I'm just going to think he's not the guy. But then again, the owners are not the people. The guys who run a club on a daily basis, Richard Arnold and them guys are not the people, you know. But I'm going to go to you. I'm going to get your thoughts. And then, Jerome, and it's you after that, innit? Have I asked you, Jerome?
No, not yet.
Before we wrap it up, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? Is Eric Ten Hag done, or there is still some time for the manager?
I still think he got enough time. Actually, he's a good manager. Like we've seen what he can do. But my thing is with the manager himself is, I know everyone keeps saying, we need to sell the club, change of owners and stuff. Yeah, we should have change of owners and stuff. The manager is at the club at this moment. He should be the one picking up the teams, making sure like these players are good enough to play for this club. He always talks about standards. If I can be honest with myself, I haven't seen any of those standards that he's been talking about since the beginning of the season, from the very first game. None of these players that he's been coaching have shown the standards. Now he picks the team. For me, I understand all the shenanigans that's going on behind the club itself. Like we always in the media, everyone's talking about this. But the manager's there. He's seeing these players, training with these players. picking out the team, we should blame the manager for this. I mean, every single game that we played this season, based on that performance that we've seen, the manager got questions to answer to, because he's the one that selecting this team. He's the one training these players. He's the one talking about high standards. I understand everything that's going behind the scene, but he's there. He chose to do this job. He chose to come in and change the team itself. And my biggest issue with this manager is, like you said, I'm with you, but I will give him to December, not because I think the players need to gel in more, because we just sign new players. But I do want to see the manager's philosophy. I want to see the manager's football, how he plays his football, how he puts his team together to face every single team. I want to see that actual football. I don't want to see glimpses of it like next 5, 10, 20 minutes. I want to see like 80, 90 minutes of his football. So if your manager will sign you based on your philosophy, why as us fans here have not seen this philosophy yet? Okay, fair enough, you haven't got players to play the philosophy for you, which I think we need to strengthen the strike force. The midfield actually need like 2, 3 more players in that middle, in the defense as well. But at the end of the day, if you know your philosophy is not working at this moment, do something with the players that you've got given to you at this moment. Let's see our players, because the team that we played against the other day, we can't lose to that team like this. Change the philosophy, change the tactics to face individual teams based on what you've studied about these teams. Forget your philosophy for now. Play every single game in a different mentality, because it's like Ola said, the Premier League is getting better every single season. I'm really disappointed with the manager, just because the expectation that we had for him, to be honest with you guys, he hasn't met that expectation yet. But I'm still patient with him. Yeah.
And Jerome, what's your thoughts before we sign out of here? What's your view on this situation?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not Ten Hag out. I reckon it's far too early to be calling the manager. I see certain man saying Ten Hag out after 3 games and saying ridiculous stuff like, I'm going to stop supporting United until Ten Hag's getting sacked and stuff like that. Like nonsense like that. It's just tongue in cheek. You have to assess the game and look at it logically and realise that the season's just started and there's plenty of time to turn it around. That's not to say the manager's not immune from criticism, because I know for a fact he's done stuff, especially changes in games and stuff that are questionable, and particularly with his signings as well, because I thought we were going to see the same style of play that we saw when he was managing Ajax, but I haven't seen no glimpses of that as of yet, and that's a bit concerning because we're into the 2nd season now and I can't see any signs. And then, as you said earlier, with the Mason Mount signing, that's going against what we thought we were going to see with the ETH ball at Ajax, because Mason Mount's not a possession-based baller. So going from being linked to Frankie de Jong to Mason Mount is a bit concerning. So I'm not sure what the manager's trying to do. I don't know if he's realised that it's going to take a lot longer to implement his style of play, and he's just going to go to what he's seen work with other teams such as Liverpool and play that transitional football and that high pressing style. But I just think you just got to believe in yourself and just stick to what you know, like what Pep does. Obviously, Pep at Man City is different. It's a different level altogether, because the board and management and players are all in sync with the style of play, and he gets fully backed. But the reason why I'm not ETH out is because we're struggling to sell players that are not his. Players, Deadwood, that can't play the way that he wants to play and can't string a few passes together. Again, like you guys said in the show. So if he's just bringing in players to play with Deadwood, then what are we going to expect? Deadwood with a mixture of his players. His signings are not going to magically get the Deadwood to start performing. So that's one reason why I can't be ETH out until he's fully backed. 400 mils in 2 summer windows, okay, yeah, that's a lot of money. But there's still a lot more to do for a club of this magnitude. And if you've got players like Maguire, Scott, Donny van de Beek, Martial, non-existent ballers that are always injured, or when they play, they just do nothing but hinder the team, no manager in world football is going to do anything with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if the board are not getting rid of these deadwood or writing it off because it's too money hungry and more concerned about money than actual success on the pitch, then sacking the manager now is not going to make any difference whatsoever, as I said earlier in the show. So we need to stick with the manager. I'd say give him this season to try and get things together, get things in place, get more stability. And if things haven't improved and we haven't made top 4, I think it's top 5 for Champions League. If we qualify for the Champions League, then I'll say we'll have to get rid. But even I say get rid, I don't say that with like such gusto because, as I said before, bringing in a new manager, we're going to see the same thing. So we're going to need to do drastic changes at the top, start from the top and work your way down before we can actually see some general progress as a club. But chopping and changing managers history is going to repeat itself. So I'm definitely not eating it out right now. I'll give him this whole season to see what he does because historically we gave Louis van Gaal 2 seasons. Oli got 3. I don't know how he survived that long because he should have been sacked after the first season, to be honest.
Yeah.
But sentiment, we need to stop all that sentimental shit. But yeah, give him 2 seasons. That was with Louis van Gaal. And if he doesn't qualify for Europe and we don't see no improvement in the style of play, then yeah, I'll have to say, we have to get rid because 2 years and no style of play, I can't back that. Not at this level anyway, and the money spent. But yeah, question marks over some of his signings. I have to admit that because there's a lot of guys saying that I'm always making excuses for the manager. So I'm just trying to give some sort of balance here. And I have to say that he's not got all the decisions right. And one of them is making Bruno captain.
Yeah, that was wrong, man.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing no captain qualities from Bruno at the moment. I'm not seeing any performances on the pitch. So it's looking like a bad decision from the manager. And he's going to have to live by that as well. Signings such as Anthony as well. He's obviously out of the picture for the time being. He hasn't kicked on. We're still seeing the same shit from last season. Cutting in and shoot every minute. No unpredictability in the style of play. So obviously the manager can't get every single signing right. No manager does. But my main thing is the philosophy. And I'm not sure what we're trying to do because the players that he's bringing in and what I'm seeing on the pitch tells me that maybe he's still experimenting and he doesn't know what he's doing at the moment with the style of play. So he needs to get a grip on that. Because if this second season passes and we haven't got no style of play, then yeah, I'm going to lose all my faith in this manager because we need something to build on for years to come. I've had enough of having managers for 2 or 3 years and then chopping. We need to have some stability like Pep, Klopp, Arteta. These men have been there, look, what, 5 years plus now. That's what we need. We need stability so that any new player that comes in, they can just slot straight into a system and just hit the ground running like we see in that Man City. Like Man City are at the stage now where players are just coming in and they're just slotting straight into the machine. And even Liverpool's players are settling in a lot quicker. But our players seem to just come in and need time. Literally, everybody needs time at United. And that just tells you where we are as a club. Everybody needs time because there's no philosophy. So, yeah, that's where my stance on it. He definitely needs to see out this second season. I've had enough of seeing interims coming and players down in tools, and then we're saying that interims are shit when they're not, like Ralph. Ralph isn't shit. He's not a top manager, but he's not shit. The player's just down tools because he's an interim and they knew that he wasn't going to be there at the end of the season. So we need to stop this interim nonsense and let the manager see out the season, and then you can see at the end that whether he's failed or not.
No more, man. That's it for now, guys. I'm gonna have to jump onto another show so I can get roasted by all the other YouTubers. They already kicked off. They messaged me, asked me where I am. I told them, don't worry, man. I'm not hiding. I'm gonna come and show. Hopefully my internet bugs out like the way it was bugging out right now. But big up to everyone that's tuning in right now. Smash that like button. And of course, guys, I am looking to make changes in terms of the show as well. I'm looking to actually do streams couple of hours after a match, especially on the weekend. Definitely not this Saturday because we do a late kickoff unless people are awake to go live on that time. But we'll see where we'll definitely be making some changes, and it might not be Monday, it might be on the weekend that we play as well, possibly on a Sunday or a Saturday at a later time. But of course, I have to get everyone's availability a couple of days beforehand. So we will probably stream on the night. Let's say, for example, guys, if we play at 3 p.m., we'll go live at 8 p.m. to do the catch up. If you know what that means, so we can reflect, or 9 p.m. or 10, depending. And if we play on Sunday, 4:30, it will be around 9 or 10 p.m. or 8 p.m. after we've played. So we will be going live on that day to get a proper reaction. You know what I mean? But smash the like to those who are watching right now. Share, subscribe, everything. You know what I mean. Your boy has to go right now because he's got things to do. But again, back live on Wednesday for the watch long against Bayern Munich, which is a loss. We don't even have time to discuss that. And of course, live on Thursday for your latest Manchester United news on 5 p.m. UK time. And of course, live for the Burnley versus Manchester United game. But again, I might have to hold out the guys beforehand to see what are they doing because I want to stream after the game that late as well. I know people will be tired, but I think there'll be more reception in that time. But yeah, smash that like button, subscribe to Red United TV. As always, my United fans, try and keep it united. And remember to keep it Red United. Your boy is out. Peace and love from everybody here. See you till next time. Peace.